Okay, welcome back. This is Monday now, and I find myself with a little bit of time in the afternoon while my wife's car is being MOT'd, no less, to crack on with my West Wings Merlin glider build. Now, I've had a quick read through the instructions, and I have identified a couple of hurdles. Let me put my seat up a bit. Okay, that's a bit better. So, yeah, having read through this this little instruction sheet here before I got started today, basically it's telling me that I need to do some sanding. Now, you know, I don't have any sandpaper at work. I did meant to bring some from home over the weekend, but I forgot. So I haven't got it. So I can do that afterwards anyway. It's only a bit of sanding, and the Balsa is very soft, so easy to do. I've done all this part just here. Then I need to remove the pins and lift the frame from the building board. That's cool because it should all be set now. Hopefully not too much of the tracing paper will be stuck to it. So we'll find out. And what I'm going to do once I've removed it from the board is basically to flip it over and then sort of apply any glue to the joints just so they're sort of butted and nicely glued from both sides of the fuselage. So I'm going to get on with that. It's then asking me to stick the sides on. So I'm going to get on and try that today. Right, so let's lift this up from the board and hopefully it's all straight and true, and let's attack these joints from the other side and give them some glue. Okay, so I've just removed all of these pins. One thing I will say, if these are laying down flat, they really are to pick up. Typically I'm able to do it straight away then. Anyway, so I've removed all of these pins and I'm stuck with one here, and like a wally I've managed to glue it actually to the balsa wood, so I'm gonna have to force that away and I hope it doesn't break any. Oh, that was easy. Right, okay, cross this over. Right, hopefully this is not going to be too stuck to this tracing paper because I could do without it tearing, to be honest with you, but I'll take that little bit there. Oh, that's near the join, which is a bit annoying. Oh, this nose cone here is going to be welded to it. Going to have a little bit of damage there, so I'll come back to that and slide a blade underneath it. What we got going on there? Come on, be kind. Right, one little bit here, just the nose, so I'm going to slide the blade under there and hopefully we can get that off without too much damage to this tracing paper. Yeah, that's really going to damage that, but don't care. Can you tell this is my first build? Right, one little bit there, going to rip that. Right, here we are. One fuselage. Okay, so here we have our fuselage. I'm just going to go on this side and give these joints a little bit of glue, like I've said about 15 times now. But all in all, it looks pretty straight. So can't really argue with that. So let's give these a bit of glue and see what the next step is. I think I need to do some drilling today. Okay, so I've now gone along and glued in those joints again using my trusty cyanoacrylate super glue just there. Now I do feel that I should be letting some of the glue run down along these joins just here, but I don't know. I have bunged a little bit of extra on now. I'd rather it was too strong rather than too weak. Having had a bit too much glue might make it a bit stronger. So I don't know. If I'm wrong there, please leave a comment below because I'd love to learn. Yeah, these joints should be pretty good from now. So I'm going to figure out how these sides go on and crack on. Okay, so in the instructions it tells me that I need to fit these pre-shaped side parts for the front of the fuselage, and having placed it on top of my fuselage that I've built just here, I can see that my shape which I have built doesn't quite follow the curve as intended for this piece of wood just here. And if I line up that join with the wing seat and get it as good as possible, you can see it's not a million miles off, but I've got a little bit of a lip just there. It's rather handy actually for shaping that front cone. I haven't done too bad a job there, but I have got a little bit of an issue going on here where there's a bit of overlap, so I'm going to have to get busy with the sandpaper or my wood file. It is asking me to pin this in place until it's dry, but I really need to crack on with this and get both sides done at the same time. So I'm going to glue one side, turn it over, and then the weight of all the rest will hopefully be enough, and it won't take long to glue on. So I will then just go ahead and put some weight on it, and that will be nice and strong bond. Excellent. I would just like to point out this glue says that the set time range is 5 to 15 seconds. Now, I guess that might be the case for a dab. However, because I've kind of doused these joints, when I've placed it down onto my little table here, it's actually welded itself to it in a few places. So I've just had to battle and get that apart. So I've learnt a lesson there. It does not set in 15 seconds. Right, let's pair up these sides and get them done. Okay, I've just noticed in these instructions actually, just before I glue these sides on, it's asking me to drill holes and glue the 3mm dowels in position, which looking on the plan is here and here, and also notice there's another one here for this tail plane. Don't know what that connects to at the back, I'll have to figure that out, but I do see there is a dowel in there for some reason. I don't know what that's for. 2 dowels it says. Why is there 2? Right, I've got to figure that out. Okay, I'm going to admit I'm a little bit baffled by this this little dowel section just here at the back, because it says 2 dowels 3x20. Oh, hang on, that's at that. 2 dowels. I don't know what the hell that means. Even if you look on the box, it shows that there is a dowel with a rubber band holding the tail thing on, but the way it's set up makes it look as if it would actually just flip up the tail plane, so that doesn't make any sense. So mine's getting glued on, but it's asked me to put it in there, so I'll bung it in there anyway, but it doesn't make any sense. So if it makes sense to you, let me know what's going on there, because it's doing my head in. Anyway, one thing I did notice on the plan, I need to fit these dowels, but it's asking me to do that once I've fitted the sides. But once they're fitted, I've got no idea of knowing where I need to drill. So what I'm going to do first of all, before we do anything, is mark where they should be and actually pre-drill those holes before I fit the sides onto the aeroplane. Now, I have come up against a little bit of a brick wall in that all of my drills are at home because I've been doing a bit of DIY. Don't tell the wife. But I have got a Dremel, which I basically shelved years ago because I could not get this broken drill bit out of the end of it. And I spent ages trying to get this off here. It's got one of these like adjustable chucks on it, and it was just welded onto the shaft. But I thought I'd have another quick go, because the only other drill I got is a 1980s corded Bosch. So I'd much prefer to use this. It's much more steady in the hand. But I can't get the blooming thing out. So I have bunged it in a vise, and I have managed to free that off actually. It's a 3mm dowel. And as luck would have it, this broken piece of drill bit is actually 3mm, just by chance, because I haven't got any others here. So that is really handy. So I'm going to do a bit of a bodge job drilling through those holes, because you can probably see at the end, the point is not in the centre of it. So it will be a little bit of a bodge, but I'm sure it'll be all right. Right, so I don't know if you can see that okay, but I've put a pen mark where the centre of the dowel should be in both of these parts, and also on this side as well. So I'm going to crack on with the drill now, and I hope I don't break it. Would help if I had a battery on my Dremel. Okay, battery now fitted. Yeah, we've got a bit of life on there. Yes, we have. Yes, excellent. 2 bars now. So you might notice on here, I've got a number of drill holes already in the edge of my table. I don't know why, for some reason over the years, this has just been my go-to surface for drilling on, which is a bit weird being vertical, but it is what it is. I've got an LED strip light there, so I'm going to be careful not to damage that. Let's see how bad this goes. Yeah, bad. Okay, it was not pretty and it did wander all over the place a little bit, but if with any luck, I should have, when these placed on top of each other, 2 holes which I can see all the way through. So let's see if I can get these to line up. Yes. Okay, great. So I've got this side here ready to glue on. I'm just going to apply a little bit of glue, I think, on this section here where it meets, because this obviously isn't quite the right shape. It needs sanding down a bit. So that will give me a good base to start with, and then I'll crack on and do the other side. So I'm just going to time lapse this bit because it's a bit tumbleweed, and get on with that. Yeah. Okay, that's both the sides done, so I just need to weigh it down just so it's nice and clamped together whilst this glue is setting. So cheers. Well, leave that there for a bit. Time to cut this winged out as per the plan. I have got like a sectional drawing here, so it tells me how long it needs to be, and I need to cut 2 of these, so let's get on with it, shall we? Okay, this is obviously not balsa wood, but I know where they are. I will go and cut those in a second. I've just marked the first one. Right, let's get those cut. Now, of course, if you don't know what you're doing, just like me, you can always just wing it. And I found just by plopping off the other side, this harder wood, it must be, I don't know what it is, I'm not even going to speculate because I've got no idea. But if you roll it forward and back a little bit, so you get a groove where your blade can go in, you can then just roll it backwards and forwards, and eventually it will just pop off. Hopefully without cutting my finger. The reason I'm doing it this way, because this is the only tool I've got to do it with at the moment. Come on, let's be having you. Being a bit more stubborn this one, but you can see, oh, there you go, look at that, perfect, almost a perfect cut. It says to round these down, but again, I don't have sandpaper, so I'm going to have to use one of my trusty file sets, so I'm going to do that now. Okay, the good news is I'm pretty sure I've figured out the dowel situation on this rear. It looks like we've got one there, and then also, hence this arrow next to 2 dowels. Another one poking right out the back, so I'm assuming the elastic band hooks under one of those, round the bottom of that, back over the top of the tail plane and back onto this one here. So whilst I may not use those because it might just be glued in place, it's on the plan, so I'm going to do it. Okay, so hopefully the fuselage has had a good chance to set now. I'm going to just bung these dowels in and glue them in place, so you can watch if you like. That is the leftover bit, so don't use that bit. So, wings. Let's hope it pokes through these holes okay. Look at that. Anyone may be mistaken and think that I'm a professional here. Clearly I'm not, but there is a chance. Yeah, one of those is a little bit wonky. But I can glue it straight actually because the hole is a little bit bigger than 3mm. So that is all good. Going to bung a little bit of glue on there and then we'll get onto the back ones. Right, that is the main part of the fuselage pretty much done. We've got the dowel for the front of the wing, dowel for the rear of the wing, dowel there for the tail plane, and one last little dowel in the end just there. Now there was a couple of bits in the instructions where it's asking me to taper, bits with sandpaper, which I can't do obviously because I haven't got the sandpaper. So one of them is this section here, needs to taper in to meet the width of that dowel. The same on the other side just here. Excuse me. So I shall crack on and sand those bits just there. It mentions also in his instructions about smoothing around these sort of right angles just here, which I'm going to do anyway because I've got a little bit of overlap. I need to smooth that off. I guess when it's rounded, it probably makes it easier to apply the tissue paper covering. I would like to just cover, actually, on the last video, I said that I won't be needing the easy dope, and where's this other stuff? The tissue paper bits there, because I said it's not going to be covered in tissue. It actually is going to be covered in tissue. So, yeah, I certainly will probably make a balls up of that, having not done that before. So the last thing I need to do is fit the tow hook, which I don't know whether I'm going to use, but it's on the plan, so it's going in. Okay, so I have just highlighted an issue, and it sets home why you should always read the instructions before you crack on with these things, because what it is asking me to do is, with this piece of metal which they provide for the tow hook, is to bend it into shape. And basically, this is it just here. It goes up, it's got a little angle in it, and then it bends at 90 degrees and folds flat with the bottom of the inside of the fuselage. Now, you will notice that it is asking me to do this right at the end just here, after it's already told me to put the sides on. So, obviously, I can't do that, because now I can't gain access to the inside to glue it. I don't think, unless I can go in that way. Absolutely not any chance of getting in there. So unfortunately the tow hook will be staying off. Okay, so the last things in the instructions before I crack onto the tail plane and fin is to fit this plate here, which basically is like a table or a platform for the wings to sit on. It probably gives it a bit more strength in the center section there, and also another similar piece here for the tail plane. So that is it really. Oh, and also just that they've given me these 3mm square, is it do you have a square dowel? I've got no idea. Anyway, it's asking me to put that there as a tailplane stop, probably to hold it in place when it's sort of rubber banded in place. I know my terminology is terrible, so do educate me. Right, I'm just going to go and glue these on now, and I think that will be it for today. Well, that looks pretty straight to me, and I have now got my base plate for my tail plane. I've got the platform there for my wing. All of my dowels are in. The sides are on. Bit of sanding to be done. I quite stupidly put this top tail plane platform on, forgetting that I hadn't tapered the sides of this. So I'll do that as best as I can, having stuck that on now with cyano, but the rest of it's looking pretty good. It's a bit ropey still, because like I say, it needs sanding down, but I do need to get hold of some sandpaper before I can do that properly. But all in all, I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm going to be the first to admit it is not pretty, but hopefully it should be functional, and hopefully it will fly. So we'll find out sooner or later. Thank you very much for watching. If you've got any tips, do give them to me, please, because I'd love to hear them. I'd like to get a bit better at this, to be honest with you, because it's quite good fun. But I do realise I am making mistakes, so, you know, don't be afraid to let it out and let me know. But thank you very much for watching this. This has been part 2. If you've joined me here, there's a little link up here to part 1, where you can see me start and be baffled by it all. So do go ahead and watch that. But if you've got this far, you might as well give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, why haven't you subscribed? Come on. So get on with that, and I should be back next time with part 3, and hopefully it will start to look a little bit more like a glider. Thanks for watching. See ya.